Welcome, everybody. I am Jason Wright.
And I am your neighborhood sis, Ash T.
Distinguished gentleman, Jamie Wright.
This your man that's going to always keep it real, Jarrell Wright.
Hey, this is Talisha. You can count on me to keep it real and keep it raw.
And we are the Our Blank Slate podcast crew. Welcome back, everyone. I am Jason Wright, along with my co-host, Talisha Wilson and Mr. Jarrell Wright. Hey, so as always, we're going to start the show off with a little sports recap. So, I won't talk too much about the World Cup right now because rest in peace to the U.S. team yesterday for getting killed or murdered yesterday during that game. I mean, it hurt me tremendously because I was really happy that USA had actually kind of made a long treadway during the World Cup to get murdered yesterday. So I won't talk about it that much, but it just hurt because we're on U.S. soil and they had a good run, but to get murdered as much as they did. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Again, I still say, honored to be a part. I'm glad that USA, actually had a good running this year. This is probably the furthest that they went. This is actually probably the most publicity they have gotten during the World Cup because they actually did a good job for quite some time. And they just succumbed to a better team, man. That's what I've been telling everybody. They succumbed to a better team, and they weren't obliterated. They got beat by a better team, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So I'll move on. We'll go ahead and go into basketball because I know Rel been dying to talk about especially two different things. Where LeBron's headed, but before you do that, remember I'm in Memphis, so we've had Ja Morant move on to the Miami Heat. You want to talk about that at all? Start the show off.
Yeah, real quick about the World Cup. I mean, I am proud of the United States for the major accomplishment that they did. And it's great that the World Cup was here in the United States because it definitely gives more notoriety to soccer. I just hate that we definitely did have a stain on the game. And I kind of figured we were going to get beat because by Trump getting involved and our best player had a red card and he called and had them review the tape. And then next thing you know, our best player gets to come back in and play. So that gave Belgium all of the motivation that that gave them more motivation than ever. And I think they played, that's the best I ever seen Belgium play. Not that I follow Belgium, but I did go see a few games prior to that. And Belgium looked like they're going to win the whole thing. That's how good they look against the U.S.
It wasn't even a game after the first 5 minutes, man.
Right. So the motivation from that country, based on our president getting involved in the actual game itself, I think gave them the extra incentives to really give it to the U.S. And they did a great job of that. And it's just so unfortunate that we came on the losing end right here in our home country. But kudos to the U.S. Soccer team for making as far as they did. And I'm glad to see the notoriety. And I've seen a lot of kids are more interested in soccer now. See a lot of them out here on the soccer fields, and which is a good thing, because soccer is a great sport. It keeps our kids. You have to be in hella shape to play soccer.
Gotta be. And all
you do is run. That's all you do is run.
But to say it again, we are very, very proud of the Americans that play. Our team showed very, very well here on U.S. soil, and we're very proud of you. Put a pin in that one and move on over to our first topic. All right. So, I was going to do a reflection, but I'm going to go ahead and move it because my producer's telling me I need to move on. So, with that being said, on topic number one says, what was the best advice you ignored? I am really, really, I guess I really would like to know because I have one that haunts me to this day. So, I'm going to start off with Talisha. And I might jump in and I pass to Jarrell, but man, I tell you, I got one that haunts me to this day. Talisha, what's yours?
I usually listen to my elders when I get advice, so there's not a lot that I ignore because I don't let a lot of people try to give me advice. But I would have to say the something that I ignored that I probably regret to this day would have to be something about a man, I'm sure, because I just be dumb sometimes and oh, but the potential there. And I'm sure I was my mama, an auntie, one of my sisters very rudely probably told me, you didn't go on. But I love him. So I'm sure I got my heart broke because I didn't listen to one of them. I'm sure.
Hey, I think anybody out there probably has had that to happen to them. That's some advice that they actually ignore. But mine more of, I was gonna keep going on that, but mine is actually, it's not something that I ignored, it's just something that I forgot, you know what I'm saying, or wasn't thinking about. So when I lived in Nashville, I had took on my first plant up in Kentucky, and we moved to Nashville, and I was in that area. It was a new developed area, and we've probably been there for about 3 months. And I was at a bar, and it was this old man down at the end of the bar, and I don't know, for some reason he wanted to talk. So so I said something over to him. He was like, "Come on over." So I moved down to the end of the bar. We get to talk. We probably talk for about 45 minutes. He get up to use the restroom. And then the bartender comes over to me and was like, "You know who that is?" He was like, "Man, this guy, he owns probably about 75% of the land in Nashville." He's actually in Tennessee, probably. You know what I'm saying? So the guy comes back. I get to talking to him about it. That's when he put me on Chef's Regal. That's when I started drinking that old man drink. Chef's Regal. But it's good though. But no, so he asked me where I lived, and I told him the housing development, the neighborhood I was in. And he said, "Young man," he said, "probably in about 5 years, your house will be worth $1 million." And I was like, "Oh, that's what's up." You know what I'm saying? So didn't think about nothing of it. I've been just 2 years later, I get an opportunity to move back to Indiana, to be closer to home. And my wife at the time was like, I want to get back to Indiana. So I took the leap and moved back to Indiana and took over that organization. But I sold my house. 3 years later, I'm having a conversation with somebody, and they're we're talking about land, and I'm like, "Yeah, I sat down and talked to this man. He told me about my house. I'll go look at it." 3 years later, I paid $250 for this house.
Mm-hmm.
3 years later, it was worth $772. 4 years later, it was $800. All right. But 5 years, it was $980 something. And in 6 years, they sold that bitch for $1.2 million.
Why you ain't listen to the old man at the
That's
bar?
when he told me, and I'm sitting there like I'm like this one haunts me, is because like my dad got all these houses, you know what I'm saying? We saw it, we watched it, we do it, and I didn't do it. So this one haunts me the most because it's like I knew to do it, but at the time I was like, "Nah, I'll go ahead and sell it. I'll make the profit off of it," because what I'm saying, we got a nice, we sold it for way more than what we purchased it for. And so, I was happy. And then when I look back at what they did with it, because they, they moved out 2 years later as well, but they held on to it. And they sold it for 1.2. And man, that one hurts me and haunts me to this day. Because
you already knew he was a property tycoon, and you still didn't.
And that's why I used to be like, oh. So it's not something I ignored. It's just something I didn't do anything with it. You know what I'm saying? That is, to me, sometimes, as they say, the graveyard is one of the richest places in the world because all those ideas and all those things that people said they were going to do or wanted to do or had the potential to do, and I knew better and just didn't do better. So that
would make me sick every time I thought about it.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I just said it makes me sick to my stomach every time I think about it. So that one hurts me to this day. So that's why I put this question out there, because that one still. I had the conversation with somebody about it 2 weeks ago, And I was like, that hurts me every time I think about it. So that's why I put that question on, man. So, Real, I'll pass it on to you. You have something like that. What is some good advice that you ignored?
The best advice that I ignored was I started investing at a very young, I can say very young age. I was in my mid to late 20s, and I had started investing. I had opened up this Fortis account. I was stationed in Indiana, and I was talking with my financial advisor, and I was investing through this investment brokerage firm called Fortis. 2001, 9/11 hit. 9/11 hit, the stock tanked. So I'm looking at all the stock that I have been buying. I have been buying stock since like 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
And so when 9/11 hit, 2001, my stock plummeted. So I'm over here panicking. So my financial advisor, which I wasn't listening to at this point in time, because I'm like, you get paid, as long as I stay there, you just talking about you ain't lost nothing until you sold it. Once you sell it, then you lost it. He says, so keep the stock and it's going to rebound. This stock will rebound, but it had plummeted. And I'm like, I can't keep buying this stock. And had I known the stock was at an all-time low, I could have bought bukus of it at that time during 9/11, because a lot of people was dumping their stocks. And he told me, keep it and keep buying it because it's going to rebound. And at that time, I was buying Walmart. I was buying all these different stocks for basically pennies on the dollar. And this was like in 95 up to 2001. I had Apple. I would be a multi-millionaire 10 times over right now had I listened to his advice and not sold my stock. All I seen was what I used to have in that account and then what that account was that day when I sold it. I'm like, I cannot continue to hemorrhage losing money. And so I went on and sold the stock, trying to make some of my money back. And that was the worst decision I ever made in my life. And I live with that regret every day, every day. So 9/11 caused me to miss out on being a 10 times over millionaire. Had I kept my stock like he told me to, man, life would be even better than what it is. I'm blessed now, but I would be tremendously blessed then. Yeah, so that is, and I try not to think about it. I hate that we even have this, because now
I feel it.
Just saying it puts you in a bad mood again.
It hurts. It puts me in a bad mood because I didn't realize, like he said, I hadn't lost it until I sold it. Once I sold it, it's gone.
It's gone.
But had I kept the stock, eventually it was going to rebound, which it did. But I wanted to stop the hemorrhaging right then, stop the bleeding, and I ended up being the worst decision I ever made in my life.
So sometimes we think we know best. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So listen.
I outsmarted myself.
Yeah. Hey, that's why, again, I was just talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and that's why I put the question on, just because it still to this day haunts me. Because I should have listened to that old man. And again, my dad has all these houses, and I know better, and I didn't do better. So that one, again, it hurts me to this day. And then to hear yours, big bro, yeah, I bet that won't happen to you again.
It won't happen to me again. Not at all. Not at all. And I learned from that calamity, where there's calamity, there's triumph. And what I mean by that is during COVID, stocks were at an all-time low as well. I learned from that one. And I made sure I didn't do that same mistake during COVID in 2020. Also, I got to refinance your home. Interest rates are at an all-time low, during COVID. And so I was able to realize from that, learn from that mistake I did in 2001. And I made sure I capitalized in 2020 versus stock as well as refinancing my home. So yeah, you'll never catch me slipping again on that situation.
That's what's
Kudos to you for learning the lesson in it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and then when people got to realize where there's calamity, there can also be triumph. And so the calamity was COVID. A lot of people lost their lives. But through that, people were able to capitalize and, refinancing their homes. People were able to capitalize in buying stock that was at an all-time low. So it was definitely a lesson learned. And so for anybody, when there's an emergency, there's also an opportunity in that as well. So you want to make it through the emergency and try to, basically turn that emergency into triumph. And when we have a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, that's the best time to capitalize on stocks, best time to capitalize on refinancing your homes, cars, whatever the case may be. Those are the best times to be able to do that. And a lot of people don't understand that when the stock drops, that's actually not a bad thing, because when the stock drops, it allows you to buy more at a discounted rate. So when it rises, you make more money. And so you want stocks and bond, you want them to fluctuate. You want to be able to buy it low and sell high. And that was a lesson that I learned in 2001. And I try to teach that to everybody who will listen.
That's what's up. Hey, man, you said, man, the little Chinese proverb or what the Chinese says, when there's a crisis, there's opportunity, so, and
Absolutely.
So I think we all need to take that advice right there, so you know what, just with that, I'm gonna book in that so we can move on, but I'll give a reflection on that, sometimes the advice we ignore ends up becoming the lesson we need the most, whether it's a parent telling us to slow down, a mentor warning us about a relationship, or someone encouraging us to bet on ourselves. Life has a way of bringing those words back around. Wisdom often doesn't make sense until experience catches up with it. The question isn't whether we've ignored good advice. We all have. The real question is whether we've learned from it and became better because of it. And it seems like, big brother, you became better from it. All right. So, I did the same thing, from a stock standpoint during COVID. So, so I'm looking pretty good on that aspect as well. So I took advantage of some good, people talking to me about what I should look into and what I should not look into. So I learned a lot from that aspect as well.
Yeah.
I'm not at the stage where I can teach others yet, but God has blessed for us to do very, very well.
Absolutely. Amen.
So you know what? So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic. And with that being said, man, the next topic is, what's something today kids will never understand? I'm gonna pass that one to you, Cool Rail. And my thing is, then I'm gonna say never you know what? I'm gonna start this one off. I'm gonna say never understand or don't get to see what we went through, and I'm gonna throw out a couple of them. Kids will never understand payphones. All right, they will never understand hitting zero, calling your parents, collect, and say, "Hey, can you pick me up and pay less?" And then hang up. You know what I'm saying? So no one will understand that, and you got to sit there for like 20 minutes to see if your mama was the one that answered the call, so that she can come pick you up. Because if nobody was there, ain't nobody come to pick you up. You know what I'm saying? But kids will never understand that. They got cell phones and all of that, but we had to literally, if we ain't had no money on us, now, hey, pay phones was only a quarter. When you was a little kid out, way out far, where you be in places where you don't need to be, you might not have that quarter. So we would hit zero, the operator would get on, and we call collect, and they would say, you get a collect call.
Thank you for calling AT&T Collect. Please record your name at the tone.
Hey, mama, hey, come pick me up from school right now. All right.
Beep.
Like, oh, hey, they will never understand that. Like, and again, like, real, you had popped off. I'm like, then you had to wait like 20, 30 minutes to see if they even got the call, see if they really was the one to answer the phone. Like, kids will never understand that. What was the other one, man? Hey, I don't think kids get the because when we were young, we got to get out everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in small Anderson, Indiana, that's where I grew up at. We would live on the west side, and we'd be out there by Mounds Park, which is probably 2 hours away from there, on the bicycle, and so we would be everywhere. But your mom and daddy always said, you better have your behind home when those street lights come on. All right. So we didn't have a time. All we had was when we saw that street light,
Street lights.
we knew we needed to head home. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't get that text, hey, you better bring your behind home. We didn't get that call. All we knew was when that street light flickered, we better be on our way home.
Mm-hmm.
What was the next one, man? Oh, kids today miss out, and some of the kids probably don't care about it. But man, we had a village. You know what I'm saying? A village raised us. All right. You act bad down the street, somebody down the street whipped your ass, and then they brought you home to your parents, and then your parents whooped your ass. All right. They kept you.
How dare you embarrass me? Now you get to whoop up everybody.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it kept you out of trouble because you didn't want to. They knew that your parents was cool with you getting your behind whooped. All right. So if you acting bad somewhere else, somebody else took care of that. And then they brought you home, and then your parents took it because your parents is like what Talisha just said, why you out there embarrassing me? Don't you be out there embarrassing me and your mama. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the first things. That was my daddy's favorite quote. Don't you be out there embarrassing me and your mama. You know what I'm saying? So the kids right now, they will never learn that village because if you put your hands or you say something wrong to a kid that's acting bad now their parents want to fight you instead of thanking you for correcting their child. All right, so they will never get the village. All right, and then I got one more man. Group dances. All right, remember the kid play movies and all that. All right, hey, we did that at school. All right, like hey. The dance floor opened up, and you get 3 or 4 people that had a coordinated plan. You know what I'm saying? That everybody was like, "Oh man, that was dope." Blah, blah, blah. Like kids don't see, or they don't even dance at parties right now. You know what I'm saying? They go to a party and they just stand and look at each other, but they will never know how cool that was. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't a dancer, y'all, so you know what I'm saying. I wasn't the one dancing, in the group, but my homeboys were, and I thought it was cool, you know what I'm saying? And of course, I danced live, you know what I'm saying, individually, but from a group standpoint, man, people will never see that because, man, y'all see now the kid and play a movie or whatever. They did their little dance or whatever. We love that. I mean, when people did that little dance, man, everybody went crazy on that. That got the party started, But kids right now, today, they will never know that. All right, those were the first 4 things. That's why I was like, man, let me start off because those were 4 things that, man, I'm like, kids will never know that today. You know what I'm saying? They will never experience that today.
Let me piggyback off of that. If you didn't make up dances with your cousins in your granny yard in the summertime, because we wasn't allowed to sit inside and play games. When the sun came up, you woke up, made the bed, and you went outside until the sun went down.
All day.
Literally drinking out the water hose.
That's right.
Me and my cousins used to make up dances, real inappropriate. But it was the time when every weekend all my family ended up on my granny's porch. Everybody know 18th and Rabel is famous. My papa was on the porch waving everybody, drinking his Pabst Blue Ribbon. And we was in the yard making dances with our cousins. We laugh because my kids didn't do it. The little kids don't do it. So the last family get together we had them out in the yard running relay races, playing rack 'em, sack 'em, playing red light, green light. And the fact that these kids had no idea what we were talking about with the game and had so much fun. We had 50-year-olds out in the yard and 5-year-olds in the yard out running relay races because what you mean? I used to whoop everybody's tail in here. It was an experience. We had a ball. Another thing that kids these days will never understand, the petty person to me has to do the being able to get mad at somebody and slam the phone closed when you hear it loud on the other end instead of just to click them when you hang up on them now on your cell phone. I really miss being able to disrespect somebody by slamming the phone down real loud.
And that lets you know how mad you was, and that let that person know how pissed off you were. How big that click was when
take
you
the phone off the hook so it's busy when they try to call you back because now you know I'm ignoring you because I was petty like that. Kids will never understand. Do y'all remember Saturday morning cartoons? Me and
Yeah.
my siblings hated each other when I was little. We fought every chance we got over the dumbest stuff. But when Saturday morning came on, we knew the cartoons we were watching at what time and in what order. We knew which cereal we was getting on the 3-minute and 3-second commercial break. That was the one time it was peace and quiet in my mama's house, was Saturday morning cartoons.
Right. That's right, man. Hey, you took me back, man. I got a couple more on there after listening to you. So I'm gonna throw it to Rail real quick, though.
The cartoon one, I was gonna say that one, but you got me on the
Oh,
cartoon.
I'm sorry.
You got me on that one, and you got me on the village. So I mean, those were the things that I was going to talk about as community. Again, growing up, there was nothing for you to be outside in the neighborhood and every kid in the neighborhood out kicking together. Nothing like that. There's nothing like that. You go outside and everybody's out in the street playing kickball, or we going to the park. And it's nothing like community. We would go to the park, play basketball. Everybody be out there watching the basketball, like summertime.
Yep.
Fresh Prince.
Literally.
Basketball sports in the summer got girls there. The temperature's about 88. Hop in the water plug just for a time's sake. I'm telling you, that song right there is the definition of summertime. Growing up.
Agreed.
That song right there solidified everything about summer. And to this day, it is not summertime until I hear that song.
That's what's
that song, when I hear that song, that puts me in a good place. Because
it makes me think overalls, but you got one undone and hanging to the back, and you got to have on your biggest polka dot shirt underneath. Yep. The bigger the polka dot, the better.
The better.
Them days, rolling 4 colors of socks down one on top of the other because they're coordinating everything from head to toe.
Everything.
Hold on.
Remember in those days, you be on the phone, not texting, not sending emojis, but on the phone talking to your young lady.
Literally, feet swinging in the air. You like this?
Back then, and you would have "Ready for the World" or "New in the background playing Force MDs playing in the background, and you sitting there whispering sweet nothings. Basically, you just repeating what the song is saying.
Praying your sibling don't pick up the other phone because it was all a house phone.
Yes. Little brothers listening on the other phone.
I tell people, hey, I learned from this little dude, you know what I'm saying, on here, or this guy on here. I pick up the phone, soon up, you know how you had to hold the down button down,
so let it hear click.
So you can listen. And I would be listening to Jarrell all the time. Like, oh, that was good. That was good. Let me write that down. I'm using that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, hey, you know, and then hold on, Jarrell, while you talking about that, your mom and dad picking up the phone late at night, like, hey, it's time for you to go to bed. You need to
say good night.
Embarrassed. Embarrassed.
Yes. And would not hang up so you can properly say your good night. They staying on the phone. Say good night. You know, you all right, talk to you tomorrow. Yeah. But those were the good old days. A lot of the kids today don't have that nostalgia. I'm telling you guys, right then, back in them days, you had to learn how to talk to people, not text. There wasn't no keyboard. There wasn't no social media where you can sit there and bully somebody from LA getting bullied to somebody in Indianapolis. I ain't never heard no mess like that. Exactly. You know, but you actually had to talk to a woman. You are a young lady. Back then, they used to have dances. And ladies, believe it or not, and gentlemen and kids, they used to play slow music where you could slow dance. And women and the men would interact with one another and not just the boys on one side and the girls on the other. And those were the good old days. They didn't have all these sections out here and bottle service. They actually had it where people came to have a good time. You work hard and you play even harder. And you interacted with each other in person, not on a game, not on the social media, but actually in person. When y'all played a game, you played that person in your neighborhood, in your area, in person. Wasn't playing a video game where I'm sitting here in DC and I'm playing somebody in Miami, Florida. I'm playing someone right there that I grew up with in my hood. And that built camaraderie, it built teamwork, it built cohesion, and it also enhanced our social skills.
Right.
So those are the things that our kids today will never, ever know.
You know, I used to
as
teach.
well as, to be honest with you, good music.
That's right. Hold on. Before you go into good music, Hey, so I used to tell my daughters in text, because they used to be like, my daddy, he said this, daddy said, texting, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, he lying, ask him this, blah, blah, blah. But when I would sit down and be like, it was much harder to get a woman back in my day because if somebody texts you, they text you a question, you got time to think about it. You can, you know what I'm saying, you phone a friend, be like, hey man, she's asking me this, what would you say, blah, blah, blah. Back then, you asked that question, it was, you had time to think about that. You know what I'm saying? You actually had to be able to respond, talk, and then if you were gonna lie, you had to be quick on your feet. You know what I'm saying? To think about what you're gonna say and how you're gonna say it. I mean, like, it really helped improve your social skills back in the day.
Yes.
You talking about texting? Remember pagers when you was special when you got your own code in your man phone?
Yeah.
But it's funny. I remember my code for Darius. It was 77473. It was for sis number 3. We all had a different code so that he knew how quick to call back, whether it was an emergency or not.
Yeah, so my football number is 34, so I always, pound 34 or star 34, on the pager. But man, hey, and then to Jarrell's point, hey, we might as well talk about it. Oh, you know what? We're gonna have our old hip hop show in a couple of weeks. But
yeah, I want an R&B battle.
Yeah,
I want a 90s R&B battle.
We're gonna do that in a minute. But one thing I will talk about music. Jarrell talked about the old, all the Force MDs, Ready for the World. But the one person that I always, because of listening to Jarrell, the one person that I always had in the background was Bobby Brown. You know what I'm saying? Every little step I take, Tenderoni.
Man.
Hey. Them songs.
This explains a lot right now. This explains a lot.
That's my man.
They stayed in rotation in the background.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm like, Talisa. I called you when we were dating in 6th grade with Bobby Brown in the background.
6th grade, you cheated on me in 5th grade, and that's why we ain't been friends in like 30 years.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I had the Bobby truth about Ronnie. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man.
That's my guy, man. Bobby was my man. Bobby could do no wrong. He would definitely talk to the ladies for you. You had Ralph. You had, back then, you had, like I said, Force MDs. You had Freddie Jackson. You had Roger Troutman. I Want to Be Your Man. That was my cut right there. I put somebody that I wanted, I would send that song to them. And it did everything for me. And then I would say, circle yes or no.
Tapes back in the day, recording your own, taking your finger and re-rolling it when you want to record over it and record something else. Walking in the room and telling everybody,
if it's somebody else's, but if it's a real tape, you got to put the tape over them holes at the top right there. So you record over it.
Yes.
Man, hey, and then you remember, hey, everybody in the audience, y'all remember this right here. Taping the songs off of the radio, and you try to get it right before the DJ come in.
You do your talking during the intro.
Man, get out of here, man.
Record the music for your voicemail when we got our first cell phones in the late 90s. Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I know I did mine for my pager. You know what I'm saying? I had it.
Man.
Right.
No, it was the days.
Wow.
Hey, but I'm telling you, nothing like I said, Will Smith and Fresh Prince and Jay Justin. That's Summertime. Summertime. That song brings back nostalgia. I'm telling you, that is the capture of summer in a song. Totally. That song never gets old, and that song is still relevant to this day. The guys will get their cars and be at the car wash for 6 hours, cleaning their cars up just so they can roll through the strip at 2 miles an hour. So
I'm about to say that LL Cool J song too, though. You know what I'm saying?
Booming systems.
So everybody sees you. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm telling you, those were the days. Those were the days. The 90s, I tell you, Oh man, the kids today who live see the '90s, they will be truly impressed on how wonderful life was back then, and it was so much simpler back then too. You know, you wasn't
You
dealing with
could
all the social
understand
media.
every word being said, and we was singing. I was just telling my mom this weekend when we were coming back from dinner. I have an old school playlist that I was playing for her, and she's like, "I ain't heard this in forever." I said, "Well, our house used to be the party house, so this is the music that I know." And my kids have the same one. Their playlists are actually better than my 90 R&B. But I was like, Mom, why did you let us sing this song? We literally singing about being the other woman, you, me, and he. Like, why did you let us sing this with our whole heart? She said it was cute.
Them the jams, them the cuts, no doubt.
Man.
Hey, my thing is those feel family reunions. You know what I'm saying? Music playing in the background. You know, times with your friends and all of that. I'm talking about 90s R&B was just it. And
Everything.
we're gonna do a show, like I said, a couple weeks and talking about that. But I would just say, you know, the kids today, Terrell talked about music, you know, the old school, but I'm still saying, man, Bobby Brown first album was the second album. I think it was the second album, was like just one of the best R&B albums ever, you know, and you know, it played in the background every day, all day for me. Anytime I'm talking to a female, anytime. Even when I got older, you know what I'm saying? I mean, now I did like you know, y'all ain't gonna like this, but you know, come to I don't want to sex you up, you know, color me bad. Like I did both of those versions. I did like, you know, color me bad, but you know what I'm saying. Bobby Brown, really, and that, you know, I'm an R&B guy to the fullest. So when we go to that, that's why I'm ready for any R&B conversation, you know. But I would tell you, you know, Bobby Brown and Jarrell had me listen to, you know what I'm saying, you know, Ralph Tresvant, Sensitivity was, I mean, I would sing that to every girl I knew, you know what I'm saying.
And it worked, didn't it? And it worked.
And it worked. And it worked. You know what I'm saying? So now the kids will not understand that music, you know, at that time, you know, and
that was music. You had guy groups out there. You had like Shy. You had like Levert. I ain't no Casanova. Baby, I'm ready. I mean, I'm telling y'all, you had Gap Band with Charlie Wilson. You had Guy. That was Teddy's Jam for me. You had Groove Me. You had Let's Chill.
In the rain and splashing and begging and pleading.
Man, you had Keith Sweat back then, you know what I'm saying? And you had my man who took the 90s by storm, R. Kelly.
Yeah,
oh, man, come on.
Yeah, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly in the public announcement. Then
My oldest daughter
honey
was conceived on 12 play, front to back. Yep.
Man. Then he had his very first hit was Vibe, you know? And then he had from Vibe, Honey Love. Then he had Dedicated. Then he had
what you call was when the ladies in here. That was the Hey Mr.
That's
DJ.
Honey Love.
No, that's Hey Mr. DJ. That's Hey Mr. DJ. Hey Mr. DJ.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, hey, Mr. DJ. Yeah.
Believe me, R. Kelly was my, you know, hold on. Then we're gonna stop because I don't want to get y'all into all this 90s right now. Shy. You could not get me to not stop singing Shy if I ever fall in love again. Me and my cousin Rosa, we sung everywhere, and I did the first verse. No, he did the first verse. I did the choruses, and then I did the second verse. Like, hey,
you call me and let that song play, I'm caking all night long on the phone with a grin. I'm getting in trouble by my sisters, my mama, and my brothers because I'm not getting off the phone.
Hey, for real, man. Hey, Shy.
Those were the days. Just let the song talk for you. Just let the song talk for you.
Come and talk to me. I really want to meet you, girl. Oh man. All right. So producer said I gotta keep moving. But when we do a hip hop night, man, I'm trying to tell you, we're gonna hit it off. You know, 2 weeks from now, we're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're gonna go at it. All right. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna book in this. Hold on. You got anything else you want to say towards that?
But we're good.
All right.
We're good. Now, like I said, community was a big one. Again, I do. I wish our children today, even our YNs today, would know the importance of community, and togetherness. And we all we got, so we need to be taking care of each other.
That's right. That's right, man. And I reflect on that, man. Every generation grows up in a completely different world, as we see today. Today's kids have technology at their fingertips, but their experiences they may never know, like waiting for someone to call on the house phone. Saturday morning cartoons, as we just talked about, handwritten letters. Now, we didn't even talk about that, but y'all remember handwritten letters? Do you like me? Yes, no, and all of that, but
They don't even teach cursive anymore, do they? People don't even know how to write in cursive anymore.
Exactly. My thing is one thing that they will never know too is, or just simply being unreachable for a while. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have, when we were kids, we weren't connected and all of that. And we never felt like we missed out on anything.
No.
So, but instead of, criticizing, generations, maybe the better conversation is about the values that should never change. And I think Rail brought it up to me, saying again, after I brought it is community. Community was great, but also respect, resilience, gratitude, and genuine human connection. The tools evolve, but the character is timeless. And that's one thing that I think that these kids will always miss out on, is being able to develop those social skills of connecting with someone, because we don't teach it nowadays, and nobody does it enough. With that being said, man, I'm going to move over to the next segment. All right, last segment of the day. All right, so this one right here, the question is, and I said I would give a personal scenario. And I wish Jamie was on the call, but the question is, what was something that significantly made you become the person you are today? Now, I'll be lying, if the gentleman you see in front of you, did not have a lot to do with that. Or, I'm saying, my dad, my dad has always been my Superman, what I'm saying? So, them two, have a lot to do with who I am today and the person I've become. But I tell you a situation, I've had, situations that kind of changed my life, with, in the military, getting blown out of a tower, and things of those natures that actually, let you, really think about life and life decisions, but something that happened to me early in my career, early in my life, that truly changed my trajectory and made me work harder than made me work so hard to get to where I am today. And so I was working for Ford Motor Company at the time. I had I don't know, been out of college for a few years. And actually, I've been out of college for a few years, and I just got into the working world because I started with General Motors while I was in school. And then after I graduated, I started working for Ford. I was working there, but then I started working for Ford as a maintenance general foreman. And one day I come home to him, and Jamie is at home at my parents' house. He's in college, but I think at that time he was still living at home. He was going to Ball State. And I come home, and he has a thesis. I don't know, it was some paper he had to turn in. But the paper was about the 3 people he admired the most. All right. Now, backstory. Jamie, they call him Ice now, but Jamie used to be, what I'm saying, I'm J Rock. Jamie used to be Lil J Rock. You know what I'm saying? So, that was his name. He didn't call himself Lil J Rock. He was J Rock too. You know what I'm saying? And so, what I'm saying, when he changed his name, as everybody say Rock, and they talk about diamonds, what I'm saying, they call them rocks, and they say ice as well. So he kept it in the rock, in a rock style, but called himself Ice. All right. So, what I'm saying, I was who, as we say, the young man in front of you in the red shirt, I kind of, made myself a lot after him. Well, Jamie made himself a lot after me. All right. So, of course, I come home, I see a paper that says that the 3 people you admire the most, I gotta be on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy who he marked himself after. You know what I'm saying? Son of a gun. So, first one is about my dad. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's my dad. You know what I'm saying? It would have been mine too. You know what I'm saying? The second person was the young man you see in the red shirt over there. And, you know, there was nothing in my mouth. There was nothing in the world that would told me that third person wasn't me. Man, I'll get to that third person. That third person is my cousin. And it wasn't me. All that. I left. I didn't even go see. I didn't talk to Jamie. I didn't talk to mom and dad. I talked to mama because she was in the living room. I read that, man. I was broken. I drove home. I cried out. I couldn't. I'm like, how? Like, what have I not done to not make this list? You know what I'm saying? Oh, dude, I cried all the way home. I ain't never told him this story. That's why I texted him.
I ain't never heard this story. Yeah.
Bro, you need to be on the show today. But I'm like, literally, I cried all the way home. And I said, any other of my brothers or anybody else, my name will be on that sheet. And it made me every day. I swear to God, you know what I'm saying? I swear to you, I tell everybody this, you know, and you know, when I do my team building sessions, when we open up about things, I tell everybody the story because it changed my life. I'm telling you that now. I cried all the way home. And I said, it will never be a time where any of my brothers would not put me on that paper. So I work hard every day. I go hard every day. I do everything I can because there was a day when my brother didn't look up to me and admire me, when he admired me his whole life. And at that time, I didn't make the cut. I felt less than. I felt not enough. Like I'm telling you, I cried all the way home. I couldn't believe it. And I'm telling you, I wrote down, you know how people put down business plans and all of that, and they say, you know what I'm saying, write it down. And I hadn't even, you know, that stuff hadn't even came out yet. But I wrote in my notebook, I said that. I said, I will always be somebody my brothers admire. And I keep that with me. And for like 10 years, I kept it in my wallet because, man, you know, I don't want to cry right now. So I'm gonna quit talking before we pass it over. But it messed me up. Like, you know, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on over to Talisha. I mean, Jarrell, since Talisha seems like she getting there. So I'm gonna pass it over to you, Rel. My bad.
Read the question again.
He can't breathe right now.
Try not to talk. So the question is, what was something that significantly made you become the person you are today?
Well, something that significantly made me become the person I am today is my dad and being a big brother. Being a big brother, I wanted to. I never forget that I had did something. I had got all A's on my report card as a youngster. I got all A's, and seeing the pride that mom and dad had, and being able to tell all their friends and all their coworkers, everybody about, you know, how their son got all A's on his report card. I never forget that, and they were so proud, and I wanted to see that pride. I wanted to make them proud because it was like a high for me because I could just see them just bragging about me all the time. So I wanted to be able to make them proud. And then once I started having brothers or having you guys, I wanted to have something to do to where you guys would, you know, look up to me and give you something to inspire to be. Because dad motivated me to be the person that I am. And I wanted to be able to do the same for y'all. I never wanted y'all to be disappointed in me. That's why I always hung around with you guys. You guys were a thorn in my side, but y'all was my thorn in my side. And I loved y'all. And I always wanted to make sure that when y'all come around me or hear my name, that y'all can say something with pride about me. And I wanted to be that shining beacon for y'all. I wanted to show y'all what right looks like and how you can do this, like dad did, you know, for me. And as y'all kept coming, you had Jeffrey, you had Jason, you had Jermaine, you had Jamie. I know you guys were watching me too. And I know y'all was watching the things that I did. So I didn't want to sit there and be disappointing to you guys, nor did I want to disappoint mom and dad. So I always kept that in the forefront of my mind. Would this be something that would make mom and dad proud? And would this be something that I can, that I want my brothers to emulate? So that's why I strive hard to be the best student I could be in school. I went into the military and I excelled to the highest rank that you can excel on the enlisted side, because I wanted you guys to be proud of your big brother. And those are the things that drove me to be the person that I am today, that shaped me. I didn't want to disappoint mom or dad, nor did I want to disappoint you guys as being your big brother.
Hey, so to Talisha, that was, that right there. We went to Camp Robinson to see Jarrell one day, and the whole family, and we talk about big shoes to fill. They have this award room. All right, it was a big room, probably about I don't know, probably 100 square feet, 200 square feet. And it had a lot of the accolades of the people that have been through, that post. And Jarrell had his own damn wing, like his own damn wing. You know what I'm saying? So like all the other people had all of their accolades, but they were on a shelf or whatever. But he had his own damn wing. So when you look at, and that was early, thank God that was early in my career. So I'd be like, okay, well, I'm stepping in these shoes. I'm gonna get this shit. You know what I'm saying? But again, it was something that was like, man, you know what I'm saying? It was big shoes to fill, as you're coming up. But it was never a competitive thing. It was big bro did that. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I need to do as well. You know what I'm saying? I want that same the pride or the feeling of the family being as proud of you as we were that day. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was most of all of us, you know what I'm saying, the brothers and significant others or whatever. And I remember us all walking out there like, damn, that's dope as I don't know what for him to have his own wing there, you know what I'm saying, to have more accolades than anybody that has come through that post. And it was something that I will always remember, and I always tell people about it because I'm so proud of him, you know what I'm saying? But that's something
you got me over here tearing up, man.
Pete, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Love you, man. Love you, man.
I have two major things that really reshaped who I am. And it gave me for two very different reasons. The first one would be becoming a mom. Becoming a mom changed my life. It made me accountable and responsible. And it made me want to be the best version of myself for them because I knew they were watching and modeling themselves after me. And then the second equal would be losing my brother, losing a sibling made me intentional, very intentional with who I spend my time with and how I spend my time. And it made me and my sisters, we don't go 24, 48 hours without at minimum a group chat text, just checking in. We make sure that we are spending time together, that our kids are together, that they're coming up together, and they still feel a sense of community and a village. So that two one is a gain and one is a loss, but it definitely gave me two very distinct drives in life, being intentional and being responsible. For sure.
And my thing though is as you talked about, you guys spending time with you. We used to have a not only a group chat with all the brothers, but we actually used to every other Saturday. And if it wasn't every other Saturday, it was at least once a month where all of us got on a group call, you know what I'm saying? Living all over the United States, and you know what I'm saying, just keeping together, and
Yeah.
staying up with each other, catching up. So we used to do that, and that's one thing. So as we talked about community, that's one thing that I miss that we used to do to stay, in contact with each other, or stay up in each other's lives. You know what I'm saying?
That's a simple fix.
Yeah, yeah.
Pick the first Friday, first Saturday of the month, whichever, for a 15-minute call.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we used to do, you know what I'm saying? But now, it's been more of you know what I'm saying, everybody, like, I know Rel, Jamie, and Jermaine, I know that they talk, you know what I'm saying, from an individual standpoint a lot, but from a standpoint of us all getting on a call together, we haven't done that in quite some time, you know what I'm saying? So it's something probably we need to bring back as well.
Get back to it. It counts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
But no, man, I think there are always things in life, man, that pull you or gravitate you to who you're going to be, or who you want to be. And I think that was a big portion of what changed me and made me who I am today. And of course there are a lot of other small little things that are smaller things that has happened that of course that builds you into who you are. But I would say saying that not being on that list, hurt me the most. And then hey, when Rail just talked about that, I'm just thinking to myself, man, when we went to Camp Robinson, and then Talisha, Jarrell, he didn't have my parents have dinner with Bill Clinton and George Bush. You know what I'm saying? For the accolades that he did, during that time. And so it was like, he having dinners at the White House and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, from a standpoint of being proud of someone, or walking into their shoes, or saying, man, hey, I am so proud of this individual, of what they have accomplished, and not only what they have accomplished, but again, who they are. It's different when people have accolades, but they're a horrible person. Jarrell has accumulated a ton of accolades, and he's a great person. You know what I'm saying? He teaches you. He has no problem with helping develop or answering any questions, and he's an open book. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he tried to hide anything or whatever. He's a very, very open book. And I guess while I'm here, I might as well say, man, I am just extremely proud of this young man. And again, I do as much as I can to try to learn from him whenever I can. You know what I'm saying? So
Come on, Black men. Let me give y'all your flowers now. Two very good, strong Black men that are able to show love openly to each other and say, I praise you for this. I appreciate this, and I looked up to this. Let me give y'all flowers now, because we don't see this very often. Not at all these days, especially not amongst our men. So thank you for opening up and for showing that. A real moment.
no, I appreciate
I
that.
love this.
I'm glad you just said something, because my eyes was tearing up, so I needed a break.
But hey, but again, Jason, it goes right back to you, man. I mean, you're a very humble individual. Don't relish in your success. God has blessed you tremendously. Great father, husband. I mean, people don't know that this young man raised a doctor. His daughter is a doctor. A doctor. The first doctor in the Wright household family. So and he's taken and seen his family all around the world, showed them giving them a tremendous life, and showed them what right looks like. And that all stems from, our dad. Our dad showed us what right looks like, showed us how to be a man, how to be the head of your household, how to be successful. And so we were very blessed and fortunate to be raised in a home full of love, a two-parent household where our mom was just as successful as our dad. She worked just as hard as he did to ensure that we had all of our needs and majority of our wants. And so that taught us that when we have our siblings or our kids or whatever, that we had to be just as good, if not better. So each one teach one. So it's important that we were raised in a very loving and supportive and giving household. So who would we be not to supply that same thing to our children and give them even more than what we were given? So kudos to you, Jason. Very proud of you, man. Love you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Very proud of you, man.
Love you too, big bro. Appreciate
Get
that.
that Black excellence. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. And I think, man, right there, man, we can end it on that note, man. So I give a quick reflection on that, man. I think if you ask 10 people this question, you'll probably hear 10 different stories. Some will talk about heartbreak, others about success, failures, loss, faith, or even someone who believed in them when they couldn't believe in themselves. I think the truth is we're often shaped more by what we've survived than what we've achieved. Our greatest struggles have a way of introducing us to our greatest strengths. Every chapter, even the painful ones, help write the story of who we become. And I am extremely grateful of the story that God has put in me. So with that being said, man, hey, I'm gonna let you guys give your goodbyes before we give Jason's right corner and we get up out of here. Talisha?
Appreciate you guys. It's been another good one. Thank you guys for showing that love.
That's what's up. Cool, Rail?
Again, this has been a heartfelt one as well, but I definitely enjoyed it. And again, you guys could have been anywhere, in the world, but you spent some time with us, and we thank you. And we hope that you continue to keep subscribing. We hope that you continue to tell your friends about us, and we hope that you continue to comment. And there's any things that we may have missed, as far as the 3 questions that we had talked about, or the 2 questions in the scenario. By all means, give us your comments, and we will read those in our next segment. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, be kind to one another.
That's right. That's right. Hey, and to what Rail said, man, hey, from the first one, the advice that you didn't take, or advice that you ignored. Hey, put in the comments. Let us know. Let us know the troubles that you went through by not listening to good advice. And then even the second one, what do you think is still out there that kids won't know anything about these days? All right. We would love to hear about it. And as Rail said, hey, we know what, we might just read some of them on the next show as well. All right. So, and then what is something significant that happened to you that made you who you are today? We talk about who we become and who we became, but I thank God, for what He has blessed me with. As Rail talk about humility, I said I never talk about, where God has brought me. All I talk about is what He has done for me. And so I'm so grateful, for the journey that God has given me. And so I'm telling you that I know there are things out there that you've witnessed, that you've experienced, that has shaped the person who you are. We'd love to hear about it. All right. And with that being said, man, I'll go to our final quote, which ties right on into what we've been talking about, man. Success is not final. Failure is not failing. It is the courage that continues that counts. And that's from Winston Churchill. And, as I look at that quote, that's what our blank slate is really about. None of us are defined by our best day, and none of us are permanently labeled by our worst one. Success can make us comfortable. Failure can make us question everything. But courage is what keeps us moving forward. Tomorrow isn't promised, but if we're blessed to see it, we all wake up with something priceless. Another blank slate. The only question is, what will you write on yours? Till next time, be kind, be intentional, keep growing, and remember, every 24 hours is another opportunity to begin again. Welcome to your blank slate. You guys have a blessed one. We'll see you next week.
Take care.